I always say to students at the university, look, it's fairly easy to get a 5% gain on, say, a kid who's got 90 and they go to 95 on whatever it is. It's very difficult and much more important to take a student who's got 40 and get them to 60. That's a big gain of 50% versus 5. So with that, I think the sort of gaming that goes on to, whatever NAPLAN has more than one purpose, and as I said, the accountability purpose is a significant issue, to me it almost needs to be teased out. What is this truly for? Is it for diagnostic purposes as originally intended, or is it for other things such as accountability? When you confuse the two, unfortunately you do get a number of distortions. NAPLAN's purpose of this diagnostic thing is being compromised by also adding to it another purpose of accountability of school principals, of teachers and so on. And so that confuses the worth of it. So the reality to me is that NAPLAN is about to align very well with the Australian curriculum in, for example, English and mathematics for the literacy and numeracy, which it hasn't done to date. 2016, next year, is the first year in which that's going to happen, which I went, hurrah, that's great. The next thing which is about to happen is it's about to go online. And online doesn't mean just replication of the existing type of test, but it indeed means that there'll be the ability to tailor the test to individuals. You know, a few years ago, call it 30, 40 or more years ago, parents typically had families of, let's call it 8. Today it's about 1.8. And so there's a heavy investment, and they're extremely interested in their child's education. Not that they weren't before, but that they often live a lot through that. And so with parents, a number of them are very concerned that their child performs well. You go, hang on a moment, this is meant to actually be about diagnosis. It's like going for your blood tests and getting some results that say, we now need to do whatever with you. Rather than we want squeaky clean blood results, and we're going to substitute somebody else's to do that. The reality is, yes, parents are concerned, but I would suggest that those fears are unwarranted in a number of cases, because if you take the attitude that this can help my child at the end of the day, because it's reporting on where the child is and the sorts of gains that they wish to make in the near future, which I think is a really significant advantage of any form of diagnostic testing, whether it's class-generated tests by the teacher, NAPLAN, or whatever it is. What's interesting is that the results themselves for the individual are pretty critical, because if I'm a classroom teacher, I want to know that this student or this small group of students have got something, or the whole class, and I go, well, is that about my teaching and learning experiences that I've provided, or it's something specific to the group? And often, I've got to say, as a performed professional educator, it is often something that we need to do differently with that particular student or small group of students, or even the whole class, to bring them to stuff that, for years I've done whatever it happens to be, and everybody else has done it well, but I suddenly run into a cohort where this class just doesn't get it. And I have to step back as a professional and think, well, how can I help them to get it? And so it's very good, I reckon, both for the students individually and, of course, for the teacher and for the parents to know what the diagnosis is and what the prognosis is. And I think that forward-looking, what are we going to do about this, is the most critical aspect. And yes, there are some examples where you can say, oh yes, but my student went to this school and they did much better. And the bottom line there is that all of a sudden, probably, they changed who they were keeping company with. We know that one of the biggest variables in student achievement isn't necessarily the school, it's the capability of the student. John Hattie's research shows that over a meta-analysis of many years of work, showing that around about half of a student's achievement in anything is due to their personal capability, a third of it almost due to teaching, but who they keep company with, their peers, is a major influence.